Hello and welcome to my vlog. I am William A. Rumley and this is my journey to writing. Stay tuned and enjoy this once a week vlog. And back to the vlog. This is vlog 54. You ever thought we'd reached 54 vlogs? We're approaching a year, aren't we? In this vlog, I'm going to have several sections. I'm going to talk about writing from a point of view, a lesson I learned this week, dealing with the character archetypes. This week we'll discuss the ruler. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about some development I've done with ambient music, some challenges I've had this week, and then our updates. Stay tuned. This will be fun. So the benefit of having so many people finally reading my work is that I get to have some critique and some feedback on my work. And I received one that it made me stop and think. How do I write? One reader said that it very much looked like I was a dungeon master from D&D, and I was writing like that. And I didn't quite understand it. Then my beta reader came back and said, I feel something missing in your work, and it's that I don't feel the characters all the time. Sometimes you're writing a scene, and you're not writing it interestingly enough for the reader because you're missing the emotion. So I started diving into this. What does it mean to write a scene with emotion? And it made me look at and understand, stop describing the scene and start living it as a character. And that gives a different dynamic to the writing. You get different flow, different description, um, and it builds up an emotional attachment to the character. An example is here in this image on the left side. The clouds are dark. The wind was strong. The rain fell heavy. The thunder rumbled in the distance. Or, with the emotion of the character, a furious storm raged, lightning cracked across the sky, and torrents of rain poured down as thunder roared like the wrath of the cosmos, as seen from the point of view of the reader, or as the point of view of the character. So the question comes up then, who is seeing it? Who is hearing it, feeling it? Who's the scene going to be connected to? Reveal the scene with an antidote of the character. So not only as a writer are you giving this wonderful scene of this alien landscape or this high-tech environment, you're having a character tell the reader what they think of it. And that gives the character a chance for the reader to a chance to connect to the character, to connect to the scene. Especially when the character is a bit alien from what the reader expects. Now, in Revolt on Prime, most all my characters are human. So it's easy for the reader to connect to them. But starting with the second book, some of my characters aren't human. And that gives a writing challenge and a dynamic and an adventure. And that's why I was also starting this next series, as you'll see in the next slide. Last week I started the character archetypes, and that also helps. So let's move into the character archetype. The type I want to talk about this week is the ruler. So in order to understand what I mean, I have created President Filson, a ruler. Let's call her up. Ruler, sovereign, bearer, step forward from the ancient halls of power. Let your presence be felt in the bones of the world. Teach us what it means to hold authority without losing the soul. Or the mystic force of a ruler, it is the embodiment of structure. The ruler is not merely a leader, the ruler is the embodiment of structure, the cosmic architect, who says, "This is how the world shall be shaped." They are the force that tames the wild, organizes the chaos, and builds civilizations from the dust. Their mystic essence is dominion, not as domination, but as the sacred responsibility to create order where none exists. The ruler is the one who stands between the people and the storm, where has an intimate core. And you have to build one of these. At the heart of the ruler lies a single trembling truth. If I fail, everything fails. Their emotional core is burden, responsibility, the fear of collapse, the ache of being the one everybody looks to, even when they themselves feel unsteady. Rulers' deepest longing is stability, not for themselves, but for those they protect. Their greatest wound is the belief that they must carry everything alone. The mess. The two faces are the ruler is really two realms. The outer mass, the crown, the calm, commanding, unshakable. The ruler appears colors from certainty, even when they are breaking inside. The inner mask of the impostor, the quiet whisper. I'm not enough for this. The fear that their authority is fragile, that one wrong decision will expose their weakness. The ruler's masks are forced from expectation, both the world's and their own. Here we have the shadow form. And the shadow form I like because you make a really, really, really good ruler. Maybe you make two. Then you could turn one into the tyrant, and then now you have opposition. And you have a very good place for a story. And perhaps in the middle of the story is where the tyrant comes. The avenues are wonderful. Shadow form, the epic tragedy for the people. When corrupted, the ruler becomes the tyrant. And the tyrant clings to the control with iron claws. They fear disorder so deeply they crush freedom to prevent it. Their shadow is paranoia, rigidity, and the belief that only they can be trusted with power. In the shadow, the ruler stops serving the people and begins demanding the people serve them. What if the ruler stands to their virtue, to their truths? They can stay in the light form, and then they become the steward queen. At the highest expression, the ruler becomes the steward queen, the one who rules with the people, not over them. They delegate, they empower, they build systems that outcast their own lifetimes. The light ruler is the architect of flourishing. The power is not a throne, it is a foundation. And now, with mythic resonance, we walk across the many worlds and ages and stories to see how the ruler, not our archetype, but the ruler of all the stories of all our history is. And these rulers, they appear everywhere. Ideal rulers can be King Arthur, the ideal sovereign who unites fractured lands, or the pharaohs of Egypt, divine order made flesh. Mandate of heaven, rule granted only while harmony is maintained. Yaruba Oba, the leader who must balance earthly and spiritual realms, are the emperor archetype in the tarot. Structure, authority, and the father of civilization. Across cultures, the ruler is always the same, the one who shapes the world through will, wisdom, and sacrifice. As I take this type into my saga, I see it on many different characters, and almost every book has some sort of a ruler, whether it is the light form or the shadow form. It's ingrained into my stories. In my saga, the ruler emerges not as the one who claims a throne, but the one who earns it through suffering, a character who never thought power, but becomes an axis around which others gather. Their authority is forged in crisis, and the crown is not metal. It is the weight of lives depending on them. Lay down the crown for now, let the citadel fade behind us. Next week we descend into the realm of the one who tests every ruler, the one who breaks the systems and bends fate with a grin. Prepare yourself for the arrival of the trickster. On the creative side, this week I worked with, I've been dealing with this idea for a while because when I write, I put one of these long play YouTube music videos on, usually with hand pans or sometimes with cosmic music. I love cellos, and I'm making music. So why don't I make some long play music and design it in such a way that it can be played while you're reading a book? So I've created three. Detonate for Freedom, based on music from the second book that hasn't been released yet. Revolt on Prime, music about under the water and the revolt, and the Saga of the Wardens of the Dawn, which is kind of the overbearing thing over all seven books. This is free to listen to. It's on YouTube, and it's now a playlist on my channel, Saga of the Warden of the Dawns. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know which one you like the best. Um, I've already listened a bit to them all. As you can see, Revolt on Prime has got one of my longest listening times so far. Let's see what yours can do. Hope you enjoy it. This week, I had a challenge. My music GPT died on me. And what's really, really weird about that is how it died. So I was working. I had Music GPT on because I use it also not to make music, but also as the player of the music. So I have my headphones on and I can be listening to it as I'm doing my work. And then Google decided to do an update. Um, Every time that you're using a Google ID to work with a third-party website, um, it builds what's called a token. And when Google updates, it's not a problem. Existing tokens can still last until your session is over. Then you session again, you get a new token. And that works. But Google updated twice on that day. And what that caused was the token got corrupted inside Music GPT. It went down. I couldn't get into it. I played around with it trying to make it work, and I created a ghost account on top of myself. Oh my God. And then when I log into the account, all my music is gone, my subscription's gone, and it's saying, hey, upgrade to Plus so you have your credits back. Where's my music? So um, I diagnosed everything I could within Chrome, within my computer, and everything looked right, except that Music GPT was not accepting new tokens. So I had to contact the Music GTP support, which was refreshingly quick and very, very open to the whole thing. They asked for an example. I gave them the example. They asked me to try a few things. I tried them. It didn't work. My Music GPT was disrupted on three computers. Um, that told them enough, and they said, leave it with us. Maybe we'll have it done as fast as we can. And then the next morning, everything was fixed. But during that night, the thought, now I'm an IT guy. I make something, guess what I do? So I had all my music, but to have lost the player, to have lost the licensing, the ability to build new music as I get into it, I was panicked, and it really put me off of the whole thing. But the next day I went to work, and I got home from work, Music GPT was fixed, and then I was sat down and I started writing again. Um, but it's easy to see how something like this can really mess your day. But that was my challenge this week, and I learned the old lessons. when you have a challenge and it's not in your hands to fix, be patient. Not a patient in the hospital. Be patient because they're going to work as hard as they can to take care of your system. And in this case, I can really say Music GPT service support A-OK. Thank you. Now for the updates. So, Revolt on Prime, its ebook distribution is worldwide. I've made a little trailer reel and I put it on my website if you want to see it, if you haven't seen it through the ether. And it shows, I think, 12 different ebook player systems that have my ebook on it, including Bowl.com, um, Bookophile. The only thing I haven't seen it on yet is Barnes& and Nobles, but I haven't checked today. Maybe it's already there. I also noticed that the um, paperback is now available on Amazon. And I look in my Lulu package. I have a trade paperback and I have a pocketbook. And Amazon or Lulu is telling me both books have been accepted into the world global distribution. The hardback, which always takes the longest, is still pending. But you can get all formats from the Lulu bookstore. And let me be honest here. If you're going to buy the book and you would like to see me get the most out of it, buy it on Lulu, please. All these other distribution centers are fantastic, wonderful, thank you, but they take a bit of my profit. But they have to be paid for being what they are. And I don't mind that. But if you are watching the video and you want to buy the book, please buy it on Lulu. Book 2, my beta reader has given me back chapters 6 through 10, and there's a lot of comments there, so I'll be busy rebuilding all that. But first, I am still writing the draft of book 3, and I have finished up through scene 6 this week. And scene 7, I'm letting it cook because it's going to be an emotional scene. It has some very high stuff in there. And like I said at the beginning of this video, I had to discuss and think about how to experience it from the point of view of an observer. In this particular scene, I'm going to write it from the point of view of a person seeing justice. And that's going to be an interesting one. Okay, that's the vlog this week. Comments and special notes in the next slide. Hold on. As I reflect on where I am today, I am a published author. I have book sales. I have people who are giving me feedback. I've written book 2, which is going through processes of feedback and then rewrites. I am building book 3. I am planning book 4. I got an inspiration 2 weeks ago for book 5. Book 6 is getting stronger and ready for me to go, and even some indications what book 7 is going to look like. Also building the music. I have built 52 releasable tracks, but they're spoilers into the book, so I won't release them until the marketing for that particular book comes out. But I have music all the way through the 3rd book that I'm working with and playing with and using and helping guide my way. And thinking about how to bring this to you. I'm in the Netherlands, and a lot of you are all over the world. France, Germany, America, a few of you in Japan. Hey, it's even in Japan. Um, it's hard to say, okay, here's an event I'm going to be at, and then expect you to come. You're not going to fly across the world just to see me. And it's not likely I'm going to be able to go far away from Netherlands. Um, I'm still thinking how I'm going to do that. Limiting my signatures to people I directly know. And that's because there's a tax issue. If I start selling my books with my signatures over the internet, I have to register as a small business instead of just a author. So when I go to an event, and we are thinking of something in February next year, when I go to an event, I will sign. But those events not necessarily are going to be the big giant ones that people in America, people from France even, are going to come and join. That'll be primarily just for the locals here in Netherlands. And I don't know how I'm going to get the big ones going, unless, of course, it picks up. Something happens, and then I get an invite with an airline ticket. I might listen, for sure. Next couple of weeks, keep working on my book, book 3, write as far as I can. Then I'm going to take a break. I'm going to take you along with me on that break for 1 or 2 videos. I'm going on a Disney cruise and take you a couple of pictures. I'm not going to give you a tour. I'm not going to do one of those Disney cruise videos. A lot of people do it a lot better than me. Just going to have some nice pictures of me with the characters and cast. Some pictures from the ship and the Italian coast. And I'll put that into a vlog so that you can see that I'm a human. I'm not just writing, not only writing. And I need that. This is the concept that sometimes an author needs breaks. And those breaks, that's where you take in the mana that you're going to form up into your stories. You take in and you hear, you listen, you see something you never experienced before. Now you got that. Now you got something you could write from. And you need breaks to go on that. So, going to do one of those in a couple of weeks. But next week will be a normal vlog. So, thank you for listening, watching. Stay tuned. Hope you enjoy the book when you buy it and get it. The easiest way to get the book is to get the book to read today is the ebook on any of the platforms, and order the print book and enjoy it. Thank you for listening to me, and till next week, Bill out.
I was born in the shadow where the giants tread, bound to power's whisper and the life I shed. A pale rider walking through a world of stone, a flicker of sorrow, forever alone. Through the stone I wander, through the marrow and bone, blinking through the places that were never my own. Every mission a tale, every order a change. Yeah, I move through the darkness to soften the pain. I sing in the quiet where no one can hear, a solemn of longing, a hymn to my fear. My voice is a fracture, a break in the seam, a trembling echo of the girl in the dream. But when I am shifting, I finally feel free, unbound by the weight of what power made me. I slip through the granite, through the pulse of the land, a wanderer dancing where none understand. One bell in the silence,